Jordi Iparraguirre, how are you? How are you doing?
Well, thank you, and you?
Thanks to you for agreeing in this interview for domain.info.
Thank you very much. From training, I'm a computer scientist, and I did also business administration. Then I started to work in Hewlett-Packard for 12 years, working in Spain, France, and then with people around the world. And I've been more or less involved in different internet projects and initiatives since the early beginnings, already at the university in the early 90s, and before with BBSs and such. Since 2006 that I'm working for .CAT, since the very beginning, during the sunrise, and nowadays I'm the director of the registry, .CAT registry. The .CAT domain is going quite well. We are about to reach 25,000 domains, and maybe the most interesting thing is that we are not only growing in domains, which is good, but also in terms of content. We see people more and more putting their own web pages, blogs, enterprise web pages, corporate sites, more and more. So we've reached around 4 million documents online, indexed documents online, which is quite good. If we do the ratio between the documents that are indexed online divided by the number of domains, we get one of the highest ratios around the world. So this is something that we want to continue encouraging. We want people to continue putting Catalan content in the internet, not just in Catalan, but also in Catalan in the internet. And that's the way we're going to continue to work on. The goals are basically to ease as much as possible the registry process. We have inherited some procedures that are coming from the sunrise, which were a little bit complex. And now we are already setting up the new registry processes, which are much more easier and much more simple. So in fact, with the ones we have right now in place, in a matter of a couple of minutes, you can get a .CAT domain registered, which is much easier for our registrants. So this is one of the goals: inform everybody, all the potential registrants, about those changes, those improvements in order to register a .CAT domain. That's the first one. The second one is to continue encouraging people to put the content, so helping them to do so. And for a while we want to do a couple of things. So it's not just that people does that by its own, so following its own initiative, but also because the domain becomes more and more present in our society, in our community. So people feel it that, well, it's really worth to be there, and it's really worth to put content in Catalan in the internet. But not just for our own community, the Catalan-speaking community around the world, also for non-Catalan-speaking people around the world that wants to address and sell their products to that community. So in fact, one of the main goals for the next year is going to be to address multinationals, foreign companies and such, and helping them to develop microsites or small sites or even a corporate site if they want, but helping them to do so they can address much more directly and easily to Catalan-speaking community. That's very easy. So forgetting about the processes that we had during the sunrise, that were more or less complex because you were asked to demonstrate your relation with the Catalan-speaking community, the ones that have right now are very simple. We have only two. The first one is taking advantage of a promotion. We issue promotion codes to associations, enterprises, councils, chambers of commerce and such, so people can benefit and use one of those codes, and then just entering that domain, that code, in the register webpage, they get the domain registered immediately. That's one way. The second way is what we call post-validation. So people apply for a domain, for a .CAT domain. Then, as they register, they have to provide a valid email address, as everybody has to do. It has to be shown in the quiz. And then immediately we send an email to that email address with a URL. So people have to go to that URL to confirm that they do want that domain, and they have to read and accept the conditions, the terms of use of the .CAT domain, which basically say that regardless of what you do, regardless of where you live, you acquire the compromise to publish significant content in Catalan in that web domain. That means that In a .cat domain, you may have different languages, as many as you want, no problem whatsoever, but Catalan must be present too, in a significant manner, okay? Not just paging construction or things like that. So that's the only condition. On the other side, being a sponsored domain, and addressed to a specific community, we must be ensure that the terms of use are acknowledged. So what we do is, once the domain has been registered, in a matter of a couple of minutes if people want to do so, we review the domains that are around. So we do check that people provide significant content in Catalan on those webs. And if they do not, then we send them a message asking them to comply with the rules that they have accepted. And if they are not able to comply with them, then we are obliged to hold that domain and eventually release it if they are not putting that content. Well, it's a bit difficult to say in the sense that for .cat, for instance, I have an opinion, and then for non.cat, I would have another one. Talking about .cat, nowadays we are growing, we are a quite young domain, so it's going to take some time to really catch the volume that we want to achieve. And as we said before, what we want to do is to encourage and promote the presence online of Catalan content as much as possible. They don't provide all the premium value that we want to give to the .cat domain right now. We want to encourage content, we want not just to generate traffic, we want people, registrants, users, surfers, that use .cat domains, that whenever they use a .cat domain, they do find valuable content, real content, not just traffic, not just a park domain. So that's why we think, okay, maybe not right now for .cat, but certainly in the future. Well, it's difficult to say without a crystal ball, but I would say that it's going to be as present as and as transparent, if you want, as electricity or even telephone is right now. Mobile telephone is right now. So technology is going to be much more, should be much more simple and be everywhere. So in the home appliances, in cars, in even the furniture, for instance. So being able to use and access the network from everywhere, and then exchanging information between humans and machines, among humans, and well, I hope that making our life much more easy.
Jordi, thank you very much for sharing your time with Domain.info.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you on the next ICANN meeting.
Sure, thank you.